I'm surprised he hasn't actually dropped off my friends list yet. But he hasn't. Sorry, my ear's clogged, so I feel congested, but I'm not congested. It's actually just my ear. Um, because I've had ear problems now for like over a decade. Um, that's a different story. That's a different story. So, Jackson. Oh my God. Okay, so he was hiding in plain sight, y'all. And this is a lesson that my fellow Orange County Democrats really need to learn too. Um, he was hiding in plain sight. We all were like, oh, there's this young, upstart, lovely kid who wants to run for city council. And he's going to be running with the students of city council, which an offshoot of March for Our Lives. He got in. Not only was he running, he got money from the women. What's the name of your club? South Orange County Women of South Orange County. That's what it is. The Women of South Orange County Democratic Club, which is I like to affectionately call you the Money Club because you are. Their meetings when they were meeting before the pandemic, right? When they were meeting in person, every single meeting cost somewhere around like $35 to $40 to attend because they always served it. They did it at like a golf course country club, and they did it with a dinner, right? So you got dinner with the meeting, and they had like the top billed sort of politicians come in and speak and stuff. They gave him and Jake Ribchick, who was his running mate back in 2018, something like $10,000 for their campaign. I think that's what it was. I don't really remember exactly. And they were coordinated campaign. Well, I don't know if they did that year. Well, I think they did actually, because I walked blocks for them. And they also had invited me to the March for Our Lives rally that was done at UCI, that Emma Gonzalez and David Hogue came out, and they were busing students from UCI to the polls to get them to vote. So he was way Democratic Party. He was like getting so much attention and focus, and everybody was excited about him and trying to coach him up and have him be a part of the bench. Basically, he was definitely like, I don't know if I can believe anything that comes out of his mouth anymore. And actually, I've heard that from a lot of people over the last year who, before I realized that he was a problem, there were other people telling me he was a problem, and I didn't believe them because I had walked blocks for him. I went to this whole, he did like an action for the fella that got killed by the Orange County Sheriff down in San Clemente. He did like a Black Lives Matter rally for this fella that got killed by the sheriff. And I was covering his stuff. I was promoting this dude. I have a picture with him and me and Kevin De Leon at the Women of South Orange County Club. Like, I did a lot. I had him speak to my chapter. I had him come in. I've got like a whole live stream of him speaking to my chapter. I did so much for this kid. And he's like full-blown Nazi now, you guys. This is a lesson to be learned for us Democrats here, that they're hiding in plain sight. They're hiding in plain sight, and they get right in with us, and they're hiding in plain sight. I would have never known, but that dude did not really reveal himself until after the action that he did in San Clemente for the unhoused black man that got shot in the back 3 times by the Orange County Sheriff. That was when he really like gave up all of his real activism work. That was like the last thing he did, because apparently what happened at that event, I didn't stay for the whole event because it was during COVID, and I was scared of catching COVID myself. So I went down to cover it, give it some press, promote it out on social media, and then I left. What I did not know is that then they did a demonstration of civil disobedience, and they jaywalked across the street to stop traffic, and people were getting arrested, and it was mostly people of color that were getting arrested, and apparently Jackson just like stood back and let it fucking happen and did nothing. He did nothing. That's what I heard. He fucking just let all these people. He didn't. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. That he just, I don't know if he encouraged them to do it in the first place and then just didn't join along or what happened there, but there have been some complaints from some local activists that he bailed on that. And after that particular event, I kept asking him, like, okay, so what's the follow-up? Where are we on this story? And he would never get back to me. He wouldn't tell me, like, where we stood, because I actually tried to bring that particular issue to Los Amigos to have them highlight it, because they're more of like a central Orange County activist group that gets a lot of attention, and they have a lot of municipal leaders attend, and it could have been something where we could have gotten some resources to that particular issue. But he never came back to me, even though I was asking what was happening, what's going on with this particular story. He never got back to me, right? So he did some sort of Zoom or something recently where he flat out admits that he does everything for clout. He's a clout chaser. That's so weird. Why in the world would you even say that? Like, why would you even admit that? But it makes sense. I guess so. Okay. So there's that going on. He also has made it very clear that he's really into whataboutism. And so anytime a progressive politician has some level of success or has something going on, he likes to do his whataboutism and say, well, that doesn't matter because of this. But that Zoom, you got to see that clip of that Zoom. It's on Twitter right now. I'll drop the link into the description of this live stream. I've never seen him look more so like a white nationalist than he does in that Zoom. He's very clearly having like his Heisenberg moment where he's turning into if he wasn't already, he's turning into a Nazi. I think he probably was already, and he was hiding in plain sight. And I think that's something that we as Democrats have to be very cautious of, is that there are people who try and get in with us, use us for our money and resources, our volunteer arms, and get us to walk blocks for them. And they're hiding in plain sight, and they're really just fucking us over. And that's exactly what Jackson Hinkle did to us. And he's literally still on my friends list. I don't know, maybe he's dropped off by now. Last I checked, he was still on my friends list, which is so crazy to me. That's so crazy to me, because I've talked a lot of trash about him over the last like 8 months. Ever since I realized what he was really about, I started talking all kinds of trash about this kid, and he's still on my friends list. Okay.